Okay, we're going to get started. I'm Stu Atkins with Atkins Marketing Solutions. I want to thank you for attending this important webinar. Given the current economic environment, as small business owners, which many of you are, this is going to be an important seminar to help you moving forward in the present and in the future. Well, a few slides regarding Orange County SCORE. To get started regarding SCORE, SCORE's main focus is to help small businesses. It was founded in 1964, nonprofit branch of the SBA, Small Business Administration. And since 1964, SCORE has helped 11 million businesses. It's actually had a huge impact in the Orange County area. I've been assisting SCORE with presentations for, it's 8-9 years now. SCORE Orange County has created 333 new businesses and over 1,700 jobs. They've had over 7,200 workshops and at roughly 260 workshops, and provided 3,800 mentoring sessions throughout Orange County. How can SCORE help you as a small business concerning the current situation? SCORE is still offering mentoring. It's even more important now. No charge video, telephone, or email mentoring. So please feel to connect with SCORE online or these other channels. Workshops, online webinars like you're attending right now. And like I said, I've been presenting for many years. There's a multifaceted army of SCORE presenters that are presenting online for these webinars, and I encourage you to attend those webinars for your business benefit. If you want to book a mentoring appointment, you can call the phone number on this slide, 714-550-7369, between 9 and 2:30 p.m. There's also orangecountyscore.org. You can go to that website, browse our the mentor profiles, and you can schedule with Orange County SCORE also. So I would highly encourage you, from an online environment right now, take advantage of this. If you haven't worked with SCORE, please do so. They're open and ready for you. Okay, let's get started. I'm Stuart Atkins, the owner and founder of Atkins Marketing Solutions. Today I'm going to be talking about maintaining lead generation during disruptive times. And we are living in some of the most disruptive economic times that we've faced this century and in the past century, for that matter. Very interesting times. I'm going to be talking about how pay-per-click advertising minimizes the impact of fewer live sales meetings and less customer contact, which is something all of us are facing. Now, let me go over a few guidelines regarding this that's going to help kind of structure the seminar. Please save the Q&A until the end. We have a large sign-up number for this webinar, and there's no way I'll be able to answer questions during the presentation. After the presentation, you are welcome to submit questions through the Q&A box. So I welcome that, but let's do that at the end. Please fill out the evaluation form that SCORE will send you. That's very important for Orange County SCORE. It's extremely important for us as presenters. We take that information seriously, and we love looking at that, and it will be helpful. So please take the time to do that. We're going to have an updated presentation link. This is a newly revised presentation. I will be sending that to SCORE, so you can get a PDF copy of this presentation free for your benefit regarding the content. Okay, let's get started here. Let me briefly go over my bio. I've had over 30 years marketing experience. I've worked for some big brands in my corporate career. I worked at Toshiba America Information Systems in the Computer Systems Division for many years. I also worked at Kingston Technology for about 9 years. I've had a wide range of corporate marketing experience relative to product management, to marketing research, content development, and writing, and have even done some sales in the corporate area. I've worked with a lot of big brands, IBM, Microsoft, Rambus, Kodak when they existed, a lot of big corporations. I founded Atkins Marketing Solutions in 2008. After I went through a couple layoffs in my career, I reinvented myself and founded Atkins Marketing Solutions. I'm a small business digital marketing agency that specializes in pay-per-click advertising. I consider myself a search specialist. I'm also an author of 2 books and a professor of marketing at the largest school of business in California, the 5th largest school in California, the Mahalo College of Business and Economics. If there's any Titans attending the seminar, go Titans. Thank you for being here. I've worked with over 250 small businesses since I started Atkins Marketing Solutions in 2008, both domestic and global companies. I love working with small businesses. 50% of all employment in the United States and much of global employment is based on small business and that driving economic force. I have 10 years of pay-per-click experience, and I'll be applying some practical aspects of that regarding this presentation today. All of us are facing many challenges concerning COVID-19. I'm sure your small business is, whether it's small, medium, large business, my business is, and I'm going to be covering a lot of those challenges and how we can adapt with some of those. Many of us are facing the fact that we can't have sales meetings anymore. Face-to-face sales contact has virtually been eliminated. And hopefully that's going to be temporary. I'm sure it will be, but we have to adapt. We have to adjust based on this new sales environment. There's no face-to-face customer meetings. No matter what your small business, or no matter what your main target customer and channel and distribution environment is, whether it's B2C, B2B, face-to-face contact with customers is just really not happening nearly to the volume that it was in the past. So we have to adjust accordingly. If you're a retail environment, less walk-in customers, significantly reduced, especially if you're a small business. No events or trade shows. Many companies, small, medium, large corporations, I've had some clients that focus heavily on domestic and global trade shows. Trade shows are not happening. They're not occurring. So the question is, can we still generate viable leads if there's no face-to-face customer meetings, there's no actual events or trade shows in which we can meet one-on-one with live customers? Essentially, our lead funnel that we're used to in the past is, in many respects, has dried up. It's not the same type of lead funnel that we're used to. So I'm going to talk about ways that pay-per-click advertising can help in that area. Now, I want an important caveat here. Every business is different. Every business model is different. Some businesses are facing a severe drop in revenue, in customer contact, in lead generation. Some businesses are maintaining that, and they're actually thriving in this environment. Later on in the presentation, I'm going to go over some case studies with my existing clients with various business models and business areas, and the ones that are thriving and surviving and what they're doing to adjust, and hopefully this could help you. I do understand many budgets are tight now. Small businesses, medium-sized businesses, major corporations don't have the funds they're used to be allocating towards advertising. Some are increasing their advertising budgets, some are decreasing, some are pausing them entirely. Every business is different. I don't want to apply a broad brush to every business. My hope is today that you're going to find some nuggets that can be helpful to you. We're facing uncertainty. This is some of the most uncertain times we've faced in our business history. So with those caveats, let's get started. I'm challenging businesses today to think differently. We have to think differently. There's no other way to adjust. As I mentioned, no live sales meetings. We have to shift to online sales meetings as a result of that. No face-to-face customer meetings. So as a result, can we generate online leads that we can follow up with in present through a phone call, a form fill, and also meet with face-to-face later on? No events and trade shows, as I mentioned, so we can meet online. Typically, I speak for Orange County SCORE once or twice a month, live meetings at various event locations. Well, SCORE is adjusted, I've adjusted, we're meeting online now. So ask yourself, what can you do online? How can you shift? Many of you are working from home and working from online, and we have to face that reality. So in this uncertain environment, I'm encouraging business to be strategic with curbside marketing. What I mean by that, some of the large restaurants in Orange County, Texas, nationwide have shifted to a curbside model. Rather than close down entirely, customers are driving up curbside and they're doing business curbside. No matter what your business is, there's probably some creative curbside options that you have. I'm going to be talking about some of those today. I also have recently written a new blog post entitled Coronavirus Marketing, 15 Tips for Small Business and Career Survival. That's on my website. You can look at that later at atkinsmarketingsolutions.com. I've received some very positive feedback on that. And whether you're doing advertising or not, this could be helpful for you to give you some context on some tips to help you in this environment. Okay, let's look at the new marketing and sales funnel. I often share this slide with my presentations that I do on pay-per-click advertising. Now, in the past, the sales funnel regarding marketing starts with awareness, interest, consideration, intent, evaluation, and purchase. In past marketing, there was and currently today too, there's still a big push marketing versus pull, in which there's a lot of volume advertising generated. TV, radio, a huge brand awareness that's pushed out through traditional marketing avenues like TV, like radio, and the focus is brand awareness. The struggle with brand awareness is sometimes you can send out so much volume, you're throwing jello on the wall and you're hoping it's going to stick. Now, pay-per-click advertising only focuses on those near the bottom of the funnel here. It starts with near the bottom of the funnel. You're starting with a warm lead. Individuals, companies, leads that are already interested in your product or service. Cold calling doesn't work anymore, and so starting with intent, capturing intent is extremely important. To increase profit, you have to focus on potential customers and leads and prospects that are already ready to buy. It can get really expensive to focus on awareness and interest. That's important. Remarketing aspects of digital marketing can do that and help us funnel down to the intent aspect of the funnel. But to increase the most amount of profit, if you start with those already ready to buy, already warm leads, it's much more effective from a profit standpoint and a return on investment standpoint and a return on ad spend standpoint. Essentially, it's pull versus push marketing. Awareness at the top is focusing on push marketing. Pay-per-click really is hyper-focused, laser-focused on pull marketing because it's already starting with intent. Someone who's already interested, someone who's already a warm lead. Customers come to you so you don't have to go out and hunt them. So that's a brief look at the funnel. Now, what's the purpose of pay-per-click advertising to begin with? Essentially, to manufacture and direct targeted, relevant, and specific traffic to your website. Organic SEO marketing is really important. Pay-per-click advertising can work extremely effective in conjunction with organic advertising, and I'll talk about that. The balance of SEO and pay-per-click as partners working together, both barrels of the shotgun firing together to be effective. But direct, targeted, and relevant traffic to your website is extremely important. Now, how does PPC work? I come across a lot of confusion. People think they may understand what pay-per-click advertising is. Let me try to explain in simple terms how it works. Four things. Number one, you bid on keywords customers search for on Google. It could also be Bing, it could be Baidu, it could be other major search engines worldwide or in the domestic US, in the Yahoo network, etc. Pay-per-click is essentially an auction. You're bidding on keywords that customers are searching for on Google. Secondly, with the right budget and the right keywords, it ensures that your ads are going to show. You have to have a well-designed account. You have to have an adequate budget to make sure you're getting enough impression share. Your ads are showing on a percentage basis in the 70% plus, and I'll talk about impression share. And you have to set up the right keyword structure, not just any keywords. One of the biggest issues I see with Google AdWords accounts that we audit is that it's set up for broad match keywords and you're just capturing everything. It's a lot of wasted spend. It's called the Google stupidity tax. You have to make sure the account is refined effectively. Thirdly, when someone clicks on your ad, you're charged for that click. Fourthly, the person who clicks on that ad then visits your website or your custom landing page. And I'm going to be talking about website landing pages and custom landing pages. I think you'll find it really interesting because you can have the best AdWords account in the world. It can be set up perfectly, but if you're sending it to a website landing page or a custom landing page that's not designed to convert, you're going to have a problem. 4 things. That's how PPC works in very simple terms. Now, what is impression share? Google measures impression share on a percentage basis from 0 to 100%. Now you'll see here's an actual graphic example here of the auction insights and impression share in the Google platform. Let's say this was your account, you're in blue here, your impression share is around 95% roughly. Now if you have an impression share that's 30% and your competitor is at 70%, your ads are only showing up for every 10 searches, your ads are only showing up 3 times for over every 10 searches. If your competitor has an impression share of 70%, their ads are showing up 7 times for every 10 searches. You need to have an impression share of at least 70% or above to be competitive. Because if you're not, your competitors are going to be showing up above you and more frequently. So impression share is extremely important. You may ask, well, how do you get a good impression share? The right adequate budget and an adequate budget is critical. Your account can be set up perfectly, but if you're not spending at the proper amount and you're not allocating a budget that allows you to be competitive, you're not going to have a compression share that's going to be 70% plus. So an adequate budget is extremely important. In addition to the proper keyword setup, your daily budget based on that monthly budget, but budget is critical. And one of the biggest things I see is people try to advertise without an adequate budget. You've got to have impression share. Now impressions are free. They don't cost you a penny. You'll get thousands of impressions. You're only charged when someone clicks on an ad. But it's very important you get impressions because it's a great way to expand brand awareness and to keep a level playing field, especially if you have larger competitors you want to compete with. Let's look at the difference between organic search and paid search. Organic search on the left here is known as SEO, search engine optimization. That's the free organic traffic that's below the fold. The top of the fold in internet digital marketing is that top 20 to 30% of any website page or our browser page or search engine marketing page, SERP page, SERP, search engine marketing page. So you've got organic free traffic in the middle. The top the top of the search engine result page, there's 4 ads. The bottom, there's 3 ads, also known as SEM, search engine marketing, PPC, or pay-per-click. It's not easy to appear on the first page of Google if you're not running paid search. Now you absolutely can with organic SEO, but SEO takes time. It's like gardening. You have to plant, you have to water, you have to have the proper dirt, you have to have sunshine. It takes time to nurture that garden. The ideal balance is having both pay-per-click running at the same time with quality organic search. Now, the problem can be appearing on the first page of Google, like I said, is not easy. And are you appearing for the right keywords? If you type in just your company name, that's not relevant because that's a branded keyword. I mean, it is relevant, but you want to appear for non-branded keywords, especially in your product category. So if you're appearing, to appear on the first page of Google, as I said, is not easy, and it's not easy to appear for the right keywords. You may appear for 2 or 3 keywords, but there may be 7 or 8 keywords that are critical that you're not appearing for. So what paid search can do is get you on that top 20 to 30%. Now, 75% of all searches online, people don't go beyond the first page. So it's extremely important that number 1, you appear on the first page, and number 2, you appear in the top 20 to 30% of that first page. Also, from a mobile standpoint, there's only 3 spaces at the top. So you've got there's less real estate on a mobile device. So there's a balance between SEO and paid search. They can work very effectively together. And my recommendation is that you run both. Now, remember this. Advertising is now more important than ever. And I'm going to explain this in more detail. It's always important to keep your brand awareness, to capture those warm leads, but it's even now, more important than ever. In a tough economic environment, you say, well, how can I even gain market share now? One of the best times to actually gain market share is during difficult economic times. Now, I understand budgets are struggling. Revenue may be way down. So some of the recommendations I'm giving today, you may have to apply at a later date, depending on your budget situation, the financial strength of your company, and what industry that you're in right now. Often, though, during economic downturns, it's one of the best times to gain market share. And I'm going to show you a case study from some major companies that prove that point. Good advertising does pay for itself over time. The problem companies get into, small businesses all the way to large corporations, is that they advertise based on panic rather than a plan. Don't advertise on panic. Advertise based on a strategic plan over time, and in the long term, it's going to be much more effective for your business. I am going to be talking about the fact that Google's offering $340 million in free ad credits on the Google Ads platform. Near the end of the presentation, I'm going to tell you some information about that and let you know if you qualify for that. But Google is offering $340 million in free ad credits, and I'll give you more information to see if you qualify for that. So just an FYI on this, because I know budgets are tough, and I know that's a big consideration now. Now, here are some companies. I had a student at Cal State Fullerton that did a major study of all the companies from the Great Depression and all 27, 28 recessions from 1929 to present. What happened to the companies that either increased their advertising or decreased their advertising? Well, to make a short summary of what happened was the companies that increased their advertising during economic downturns actually did much better in the long run than companies that decreased their advertising. Sure, we need to be wise. Sure, we need to be prudent. But companies like Kellogg's versus Post cereals, major gains because they actually maintained or increased advertising. And the correlation actually related back through a regression analysis to an actual increase in revenue and net profit over the years. And for a short term and long term, it benefited companies. Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, even aspects of the restaurant industry. You can see Rubio's here. Time Inc., like I said, Kellogg's and Post cereal. So there is a correlation between advertising spend and the economic environment. Now, who clicks on pay-per-click PPC ads? Excuse me. Some people say, Stu, you know, do people really click on those ads? Well, yes, they do, and let me explain how and why. Actually, there was a major study done of thousands of major Google Ads accounts. And the study concluded that roughly 65% of people click on Google Ads when they're looking to buy an item online. Now let me get into more detail on this. Clicks on paid search listings beat free searches by a 2-to-1 margin on words with high commercial intent. Now, you say, what do you mean high commercial intent? Well, the phrase buy stainless steel dishwasher to a company is worth far more to a business than your basic informational search like who is Thomas Edison or who is Albert Einstein. The phrase buy stainless steel dishwasher is a high commercial intent phrase. Well, why is it? Well, because of the phrase buy, the word buy in there. Let's say the dishwasher failed a week before Thanksgiving. Mom is in panic. She sends dad out to get a dishwasher. Often people start with the search engine for their linear purchase, the customer journey of a purchase, and dad types in buy stainless steel dishwasher. He is in the mode to buy. An individual like that is searching from a high commercial intent standpoint, either looking for a product or a service, is much more apt to click on pay-per-click advertising. Now, what are the benefits of PPC? Number one, customers start with search engines. A customer or a potential prospect may start with a search engine, and from that search engine, they may go to social media, they may go to a website, they may go to other digital platforms, but often the customer journey starts with search engines. I start with a search engine, often you do, whether it's on a desktop or a mobile, it's often the starting place. Now the customer journey may not end on the search engine, often it does, it may end somewhere else, but it's often the leading starting point. Number two, pay-per-click advertising drives immediate results. If account setup has the right budget, the correct keyword structure, good ad copy, is designed properly, you can often start to get traffic and potential results and immediate results within a 24 to 48 hour period. So especially a company that may have a brand new website or a website that's been around for a long time but is not getting relevant traffic, pay-per-click can be very important both in the short-term standpoint and the long-term standpoint. Number three, pay-per-click pulls in quality page one converting traffic. As I mentioned earlier, because it's number one starts with intent, number two, it's focusing on the keyword structure of your leading keywords. In most cases, keywords within a specific campaign and ad group, there's only about 5 to 10, sometimes 15 at most leading keywords that are going to drive the most conversions. But you're starting with quality page one traffic to begin with. It's very efficient. Pay-per-click increases leads and sales. And I'm going to give you some illustration in a little bit, but for example, we had a client about a year ago. We were able to generate about 7,000 leads over a 4-month period using pay-per-click advertising. It's very focused and it's very specific and it's very good at lead generation. Works extremely well for e-commerce also, but if you're generating more leads and they're warm leads, once you qualify those warm leads, that's naturally going to increase the potential for higher revenue and net profit. It's extremely targeted. Pay-per-click advertising allows you to target a specific city, a specific state, a specific country, a specific region. You can day part by time of day. You can structure demographics, income level, age, gender. With remarketing tools and audiences, you can also target audiences that are visiting your website, have very specific type of lookalike audiences, customer profiles and personas that are very much focused on visitors of your website and have touched your company digital platforms in the past. So it's extremely targeted. It's smarter than other forms of advertising. Like SEO, pay-per-click gives you tons of data and information. Over time, over about at least a 2 to 3 month period, you start to get data that is a gold mine for your company. Because we get so much quality data as far as the search phrases that that prospects are actually typing in for your products, your services, for lead generation, what ads they're clicking on, what their interest levels are, their demographics, the amount of data and what time of day, et cetera, what's resonating with them. The smart data makes it very effective for advertising. We can take that data and over time apply it, refine it, and allow it to generate much higher quality traffic over time, short-term and long-term. Your competitors are using pay-per-click advertising to grow their business. Within Google Ads, you can actually go in and see who's running competitive ads, and you can see the ad position, and you can also structure your bids to appear above and below. You can use ad extensions to push your competitive traffic down below, and so yours is appearing above. There's a lot of different tools you can utilize, but I guarantee you, many of your competitors are using pay-per-click advertising also. It will also help you break into new markets. Let's say from a geographic standpoint, you want to break into Austin, Texas, and your business is primarily based in 4 states in the western region of the United States, and you want to break into the Austin, Texas, or the entire state of Texas. You can set up a campaign, and start running ads within Texas or just Austin, Texas. Within 24 to 48 hours, you can actually break into a new geographic market. It's very custom, it's very specific, and you can tailor it. PPC advertising spend is controllable. Once you've determined what the proper budget is going to be competitive, and that's done through a lot of keyword research, and Google actually provides the volume of searches over time. We do the research so we can make a recommendation on what an adequate budget is going to be. You can then control your advertising spend. Typically, you'll have a monthly budget, and you set up a daily budget. And you can focus on that budget. You can tweak that budget. You can increase it. You can decrease it over time. And you may set up a budget. Let's say you've got a $2,000 a month budget or a $500 a month budget. You may not, that doesn't mean you're going to spend that monthly budget. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So you can tweak your budget and you can allocate funds depending on the campaign, depending on the keyword structure, to maximize the potential and the conversions of your account. You only pay when someone clicks on your PPC advertisement. Like I said, impression share is very important. You will get thousands of impressions, which means you'll get free brand awareness and impression share that's available to help your brand grow, to help expand mind share and brand awareness. You're only charged when someone clicks on the ad. And if the account is set up properly, those clicks will be effective clicks. They will be structured clicks. They will be specific and efficient clicks. Okay, let's jump into the world of some COVID case studies. I'm going to talk about survivors and thrivers in this market right now. Now, again, this is industry dependent. It really varies depending on which industry. Some of the following brief case studies are what's happening with some of my current pay-per-click clients right now. This company, San Diego Marble and Tile, is one of the largest marble and tile retail and distributors in the San Diego area. They have store locations in San Diego proper, Encinitas, and El Cajon. They focus on homeowners, designers, and contractors. Now, you would think a retail business like this would really struggle during COVID-19. Actually, last month was the first half of this month has been very strong for them. The pay-per-click account for San Diego Marble and Tile focuses on lead generation. 2 things, phone calls. Well, actually 1 thing, excuse me. Phone calls are critical. Phone call is the critical call to action for them. So we send potential customers to their website. The advertising is focused on, like I said, homeowners, designers, contractors based on various campaigns. And we've actually been able to maintain a consistency in phone calls. Naturally, because of COVID-19, they can't have people, they have huge museum type warehouses and display rooms of beautiful tiles. Fortunately, their website is a museum in and of itself, has tons and tons and thousands of beautiful pictures and showrooms relative to tile. So we can send interested leads to their website. They can also call. Some of the ad copy, we've said we're open for phone calls. If you need assistance, if you need feedback, call us now. They can schedule appointments for later on for tile installations. So actually the phone call lead generation has actually been maintained in an account like this. We made some modifications with the ad copy, focused some of the bidding increases, etc. But there are adjustments and tweaks you can make where actually a retail walk-on environment like this, the digital phone call lead generation has actually been very effective for them, and they've been maintaining a consistency. This next client is Lantronix. Now, Lantronix is a B2B environment. San Diego Marble and Tile is a B2C environment. Lantronix is a publicly held global IT company. They focus on out-of-band management, Internet of Things, and medical device connectivity, all types of various Internet of Things environment, which is an exploding, rapidly growing area. Lantronix has also been able to maintain consistency in their lead generation. In fact, last month we actually had the best lead generation month ever for them since July of 2019. 2 calls to action for this client. Number 1, a phone call. Number 2, a form fill. So their sales team, they can't go to trade shows now. They go to large trade shows, domestic and international. There was a big trade show in Germany had to be canceled for major IT companies. So their inside and outside sales team is really dependent on leads being generated from their website organically, SEO, and from pay-per-click advertising. Like I said, we were actually able to increase the leads for March. So there's been a consistency, a strength here, and both form fills and phone calls. Without events or trade shows, you can still generate leads that you can follow up with individuals that are interested in your product or service. You can have live events. You can have face-to-face sales meetings, but you can still generate leads that you can follow up at a later date, and you can make a phone call. And that phone call can be done through advanced call tracking that we do. We actually record the phone calls on a permission basis. All the lead data is placed in there. We know the keyword searches that were utilized to generate that lead. And like I said, we can record the phone calls too on a permission basis. So it's been effective to maintain and in some cases increase the consistency. Now this industry is an essential business. It's very important. So, and some of the medical connectivity has been important too, but there's still a way to generate leads without live event meetings. This company, CRE, Commodity Resource and Environmental, the #1 call to action for this company, phone call. They need live phone calls. They've been, what this company does, it's a very interesting business model. They recycle silver out of x-ray films from hospitals, from veterinarians, from dentists. So, and I suspect some hospitals, we've actually been able to maintain a fairly good consistency of phone calls for this company in the entire US, simply because many in the medical industry still want to generate cash flow. It's a tough time. So we've been able to maintain lead volume with this company. Last week it was down slightly, but it's still maintaining a consistency, and we've still seen a strength here. And again, this company also has trade shows. They're not able to have those right now, but they're still able to generate customer leads with a live phone call. Some of the ad copy, we all, and all these clients, and I recommend you, if you're running Google AdWords, make sure you're modifying your ad copy to state, we're open for phone calls. Open for business to take phone calls. Let people know that they can connect with a live individual on the phone now. Make sure that's on the home page of your website. Make sure that potential prospects know that you're open for business and that they can still connect with you live. So if you can't do business now, you can do business later. This company, Parking Lot Lighting, specializes in parking lot lights. Kind of obvious. The bucket trucks and people that are going to actually refurbish an older parking light to LED lighting from traditional lighting, et cetera, et cetera. This company depends heavily on phone calls. So it could be a large commercial parking lot light. It could be a shopping mall. It could be a church. It could be a convention center. It's an important essential business, and phone calls, we've actually been able to do some things to maintain lead generation. Down a little bit, but it's still hanging in there. And again, lead generation for phone calls, we've made some tweaks to the ad copy, let them know we're open for business. Call now to get information to book an appointment. The servicing is done outside so that the social distancing isn't as important because you're up in a truck way in the air. So with this account, we're running both Google Ads and Bing. I'm going to talk about Bing advertising also. Shifting to e-commerce. This company, Backflow USA, sells backflow parts. These are water parts you'll see here in the middle here. And I know far more about backflow water parts than I've ever known in my life. I see them all over the place. You'll see these water structures in the cages. Essentially, these products make sure that you have clean water coming into facilities, commercial facilities, restaurants, convention centers, shopping malls. They're all over the place. Hospitals have to have clean water coming in and dirty water not mixing with that clean water coming in. So it's a friction-based product. This company sells nationwide online. We've actually been able to increase their lead volume. E-commerce companies are doing fairly well in the COVID-19 environment simply because people can order online. There's no face-to-face contact. So for this e-commerce customer, we're also modifying some ad copy also to let them know that they're open. But in this environment, they've actually done well, and there's been some significant lead increases in an e-commerce environment. Now, for my agency, I've actually increased my advertising during this time frame. I am a firm believer in attempting to gain market share in tough economic times like this. And this is a sample of a landing page that I will utilize for sending my ads that I'm running on LinkedIn. I'm running ads on Facebook. I'm running ads on Google video ads, on YouTube. 2 calls to action. Number 1, a phone call. Number 2, a form fill. You'll notice I have the actual phone number. I'll show you a full slide of this, but you want to make sure it's simple, clear, and to the point. I'm also running video ads. Video is a very important medium for your business. I like to call videos the short story of the 21st century. I'm running a 2-minute promotional video ad now that was released about a month ago. And what I'm doing is linking my YouTube channel with Google Ads, and you can actually run ads fairly inexpensively on video. You have to have a quality video on your YouTube channel, and it gives you the breakdown of what percentage of the video people are watching over a certain time frame. You can see that I've received 2,800 views. The view rate's about 26%. You want a view rate of at least 20%. If you're anything in the 25 to 30% range, you're really doing well. I've actually received some leads, some conversions from this video. And so video is an inexpensive way to actually generate brand awareness on the Google Ads platform in conjunction with your YouTube channel. So I encourage you to have, I hired a video production company, did an excellent job on a high quality video, and a video can be very effective for your business and very cost effective also. I want to talk about page attention ratio briefly, and this applies to your website or to a custom landing page you may be utilizing. Now in a Google Ads account, you're gonna send your ads either to your website or to a custom landing page. Now, a custom landing page has some benefits over a website, but let me explain both. A typical website is going to have about a 16 to 1, 20 to 1, sometimes a 30 to 1 page attention ratio. When you go to a typical homepage, you will notice a few things. If you count all the pull-down menus, the drop-down tabs, the call to actions, the form fills, the various products and services they can click on. There's about 20 to 30 things you can distract a potential visitor to your website on. So it's very easy to get people sidetracked. So how do you alleviate that? In pay-per-click advertising, one of the most effective things that we do is create a custom landing page. Now, a custom landing page looks just like your website. In fact, it looks just like your website, and often looks even better than your website, but it mirrors the exact branding of your website. It feeds off of your domain, so Google sees it as a page of your website, and it's designed for high conversion. A typical landing page is going to have a 3-to-1 page attention ratio, 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. There's basically three things they can do here. Number one, fill out a form. Number two, make a phone call. Or number three, watch a video. Essentially, there's two calls to action here. Two things they can do. There's no drop-down menus. So it's designed for extremely high conversion, works very effective on desktop and mobile, and it increases the conversion rates in most cases. This is a link to a sample of a landing page. I've been using a custom line. I won't go there now for time's sake, time's purposes, but a custom landing page can be very effective for lead conversion. And that's not to say you can't use your website, but you want to make sure that you have some landing page focus points. And I want to go through some tips for either a landing page that's custom or on your website. Number one, have 1 or 2 calls to action. Don't confuse people. Ideally, 1 call to action. If you want to make them a phone call, if you want that lead to make a phone call, have your phone number at the top, middle, and bottom of the page. Don't have it in 9-point font that they can't even see it. 1 or 2 leading calls to action. You need to ask yourself the question, this one critical question. When a visitor arrives on your website, they're asking something, a 2-word question. So what? And based on that so what action do you want them to take? Let customers know you're open for phone calls. Let them know in this COVID environment they can contact you. Very important. Less is more. Most landing pages, most websites, especially websites, you can reduce the content by 50%. Shakespeare said, brevity is the soul of wit. Don't try to tell your life story on your homepage. Get to the point immediately. A free tip, number one, make sure you have a value proposition at the top of the page in the top 10 to 20%. A value proposition tells that visitor in 1 or 2 sentences, why should they buy from you. Number 2, have a benefit statement underneath that value proposition, 3 to 5 bullet points that explains simply and cleanly and clearly what makes you unique and different. So less is more, very important. We read 25% slower online. We scan, we don't read. You have about 5 to 10 seconds to capture the attention of the visitor on your website. If you don't do it in 5 to 10 seconds, the scary thing is they may leave and they may never come back. So very important. Use bullet points. Bullet points are a great way to summarize content. Don't have the Encyclopedia Britannica on your homepage or your landing page. Make sure you get to the point quickly, cleanly, and simply. Solve the customer's problem. The visitor to your website or someone who's clicked on your ad, they have a problem and you have a solution, hopefully. Make sure you think in those terms and you're solving that customer's problem. Clearly explain the benefits in those benefit bullet points. Use red or orange call to action buttons. You're going to get higher conversion rates with that color. Use order now instead of buy now from an e-commerce site. Order now is more indirect. Buy now is kind of the info page type of approach. It's very direct. It can be intrusive. Order now is more direct, and studies have shown you'll get a higher conversion rate with that. Measure everything. Make sure everything you're measuring, especially with Google Analytics, so you know the journey, you know the story, what's happening from a data standpoint. Speed matters. Make sure your website is loading in at least 5 to 8 seconds, if not faster. 2 to 5 seconds is much better. Make sure that you're not going out and purchasing the $1.99 GoDaddy package. GoDaddy has faster packages. Most hosting companies have much faster packages now. I upgraded to a pro hosting package, and as a result, my website loads much faster. You want to spend the extra money to have less domains on a higher performing server, so your website is going to load faster. It's better for customer experience, and especially on mobile devices, you want that website to load better. Speed matters. Microsoft advertising. Let me talk about Bing advertising. It used to be called Bing advertising. Now it's Microsoft advertising. The average cost per click on Bing is about 30 to 40% less. Also during COVID-19, the average cost per click on Google too has actually been going down. Average cost per click is going down. Another argument for advertising now. Now, Microsoft Bing is a very effective tool for advertising. You don't want to just run Microsoft ads. You want to make sure you run Google ads first and use, in a layer effect, run Bing to complement Google ads. For most of our clients, we run both, and it's very effective. You can reach 63 million unique users that you cannot on Bing that you can't reach on Google. Bing powers 10 billion queries every month across platforms like Yahoo, AOL, CBS, and more. 1 in 4 searches in the United States takes place on Bing. And if you think about it, the Bing network is actually baked into most Wintel PCs that are sold. Internet Explorer is the browser that's sold with most desktops and laptops now under Windows 10. People search on Bing and they think they're searching on Chrome. So that environment, that browser environment's actually baked into PCs that are sold via the Internet Explorer Windows 10 context. Bing users spend on average 22% more than Google users. So I highly recommend Bing advertising as a layering aspect with Google Ads. You can, once you've set up a Google Ads campaign, you can import Bing right into that Google Ads campaign. You have to make some tweaks. There's very specialized tweaks you need to make, especially with the conversion tracking. You have to be careful, but it's an effective tool to utilize it. We often run with our clients both Google Ads and Bing advertising. LinkedIn in a B2B environment is extremely powerful. I've been running promotional ads on Bing now for my agency over the past month and a half, and I've been able to generate some very good leads and some quick leads, and Bing is an effective tool. It's more expensive. The average cost per click can start at least in the $5 to $6 average cost per click and move upward. But there's over 259 million B2B global users on LinkedIn. There's a one-click form fill for lead generation because the profile information is already built into the LinkedIn profiles. Once you set up the ad, one click will generate the form fill. They don't have to fill out 5 or 6 form fill because the one click does it for them. Very efficient. Selective ad targeting on LinkedIn. You can target your ads based on job title and function. You can target your ads based on seniority, company name, and size. I'll illustrate this in a minute. Industry, skills, interests, and years of experience, degree type, and name. So you can be very granular on LinkedIn. Here's a sample of an ad that I'm running right now. This is a video ad I have, a PPC promotional ad, and you can see the video environment where it actually runs the video with the ad. And it's a one-click, and they can do form fill. Here's some of the targeting you can do within LinkedIn. You can target, for example, job titles: Senior Vice President of Marketing, Director of Marketing, Senior Marketing. So depending on your industry, you can be very granular on who you target and who you don't target. You can also target various company sizes. You can see for this, I was targeting 50 to 200 small business, 201 to 500 employees, and actual demographic from an age standpoint. So very granular. Now, let me talk about COVID-19 ad credits real quick, and then we'll open this up to Q&A. Google is offering ad credits for Google Ads small and medium-sized businesses. Now, some of you may not qualify. Here are the requirements. Number 1, you must have an account that's been running in Google Ads since January 1, 2019. So you must have an account that's been open, active, and running since January 2019. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to open up an account and I'm going to get these free credits. That's not going to happen. You have to be a consistent customer over time. Google is offering $340 million in ad credits for small businesses. Accounts will be notified within your Google Ads account. If you're running an account since January 1, 2019, you will receive a notification within the notification section, and you will see if you qualify. The credits expire December 31st, 2020. Credits apply for Google Ads, the search display, and YouTube. Google will notify accounts in the coming months. So if you're running an existing account since January 2019, check your notifications in your account. There are still forthcoming details on the specifics of this. If you just Google, here's a link to it. If you just Google COVID-19 ad credits or COVID-19 Google ad credits, hit enter, you'll see a specific Google page that's right here also that will go into detail as far as these free ad credits. I hope you qualify. I hope you've had an account that's been open. Lastly, Atkins Marketing Solutions, we offer a free PPC performance audit and consultation. If you have an existing account, we will do a free audit and consultation of your account. If you don't, we'll still do a consultation for you to see if pay-per-click is possibly a good fit for your company. I'd like to close with this quote before we open it up to Q&A. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." I want to encourage everyone that's listening during this very difficult economic and personal environment that we're in. The last phrase of that quotation I love. It's the courage to continue that counts. Hang in there, hang tough, and I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, please feel free to answer those, ask those, excuse me. And if you want to contact me at any time after this presentation, I'm at AtkinsMarketingSolutions.com is my website. There's lots of free marketing information on my website. There's 350 plus blog posts related to marketing and digital marketing. There's my email, my Facebook, my Twitter, and my LinkedIn account. You are welcome to connect with me. I have a monthly email marketing newsletter. You're welcome to sign up for that on a permission basis, and you can opt out at any time. Okay. So why don't we open this up for Q&A, and let me go into the Q&A box here and see what we've got. Okay, first question from Beverly. I'm a consultant in a very unique niche and have, to my knowledge, no competition in the USA. Consequently, pay-per-click doesn't appear to be a necessity for me. Am I wrong? Not necessarily. It depends. That's a great question, Beverly. What I would recommend, we would have to do keyword research. If you're I'm in a niche market because I just specialize in pay-per-click. So, and a lot of businesses are niche. So Google has the search data if your specific niche market is, let's say, jet-powered ski boats. Okay, I'm just making an example. And you can do research on the actual search volume. You may or may not be surprised how many monthly searches over the past year have been involved with your specific niche area. So pay-per-click doesn't work for every industry, but often it works for most, whether it's niche, whether it's broad. We would have to do the research and look at the data. You can connect with me via email and I can check your specific niche industry. There may be some value to it for you, but I'd have to check for you. Good question. Let's see, Chi has a question here. Can you go back to previous slide? Thanks. I'm not sure which slide you're referring to. Let's see, okay. Darren Cohen, how should we determine, sorry, Darren, didn't mean to mention your last name. How should we determine how much we should spend on PPC? Is there an easy way to find out competitors' impression share? Actually, two good questions. How should we determine, the first question, how much we spend on PPC? Well, a couple things. Number one, you have to do the keyword research to see what the average cost per click is. Number two, you need to see what's the monthly search volume in the target market that you're targeting. So you know how much budget you need to allocate for that specific market and that average cost per click. If the average cost per click, let's say, is I'm just going to throw it out, and it can vary from 50 cents all the way up to $150 per click, and everything in between, depending on the market. If the average cost per click is $10, and you're going to spend $1,500 a month, you've got a daily budget of about $50. So you're good for about you're good for about 5 clicks per day. Now that may or may not be effective in your market, depending on the search volume, how many competitors you have. So again, the research has to be done to check, number one, the volume of searches, and number two, the average cost per click, and what it's going to take to be effective. The biggest problem companies fall into, they think they can just, oh, I'll just pick any amount of money, throw that, and hopefully see if it's going to work. The research needs to be done so you know how much traffic you need to generate to be effective, to get an effective return on investment and return on ad spend, and to be competitive. Secondly, let's see, is there an easy way to find out competitors' impression share? Yes, right within the Google platform, it will tell you that slide I showed at the very beginning. Actually, within the Google overview screen, the graphic within a Google Ads account, it actually will show you the impression share, and you'll see it right here. If I go in there, there's the impression share that shows up right there. Auction Insights impression share and overview will tell you that.